Hi folks, this is the external demonstration of our Rimor Evo 95 4-berth motorhome. First things first is the electrical cup, so that's where that plugs into. So if you're on your campsite, you've got a lead supplied, two different ends. There's only one end that will fit the van, the other end will fit the campsite post. And all you have to do is plug that into both ends and it should automatically have electric into the motorhome. This motorhome does have an alarm on it, so there's two keys, one for the cab, one main key for the cab like you normally get. That locks the front doors and there's a separate key for the other locks. If you lock the van and go out and then unlock the van but don't open the front doors, it doesn't reset the alarm. So when you come back to the van, press unlock, pull open the actual door and shut it, and then you can enter into the personnel door on the side. That'll just set the alarm to make sure it knows somebody is actually inside the van. Main door, and I say there's a separate key for this, just two keys that will come on the key ring. All it is pull, lock and open. This doesn't work via the central locking, as I say it's a separate key. And when you want to lock the van at night time, press that in with the door shut and that'll lock this door. These are just vents for the fridge either side. Toilet, so as explained on the interior video, the waste goes into this cassette. You can see when it's ready for emptying. One thing about this is only empty it at a campsite, at their official point, the Elsin point. Do not empty it anywhere else, just at a campsite, so no lay-bys or fields or anything like that. That might sound daft, but these things do happen and end up all over the internet, so campsites only. All you have to do is, once your toilet's full, make sure the flap's closed inside. The lever underneath, push that up, and the cassette comes out. So you've got a cassette. To empty it, this pipe swings out, undo the cap, and empty it into the Elsin point at your campsite. If you press that blue button at the back, that one, that just makes it flows a bit quicker, so it doesn't take as long. And this one here, the blue one here, you don't really need to touch that unless you want to swill out the cassette, which you can pull that lock, open that, and that opens the flap in the cassette. You can then swill the cassette out and empty the waste down the Elsin point. Make sure that is shut and turning that way, and make sure this is pushed back on. And then the cassette literally just pushes back in. If you remove the cassette and you find any fluid or anything in here, it normally means you've left the flap open and been driving. So one thing I do request is when you bring the motorhome back, make sure this area is cleaned. And I say all it does is get your cassette, place it in the hole, push it back into the clips. That's all you have to do. Garage, so you've got a big garage on this one. Plenty of room for bikes. Your electrical cup lead, levelling ramps. There's hose pipe, watering can if you're not near a water point. No spare wheel on the motorhomes, it's the fluid, so that's in there. And I say use that, plenty of room. The locking mechanism on the door. I say there's only one key for the back. Close the door, press it in, that locks it, turn the key, and then when you want to undo it, turn the key, press the button there, and that pops it out. Working his way to the other side, there's another door here, so same again, that just shuts. Press lock, do them both. Obviously make sure they're locked before you drive away. This one here is just the vent for the boiler, the heating hot water. So if you've got the boiler on, you may just hear this venting out on there. Gas locker. And so on this motorhome we have a system called refillable gas. So these bottles are fixed. They stop in the motorhome, and you have to refill them. So this is LPG gas. It's got gauges on. When we use this motorhome to go around Europe, and I noticed the gauges aren't very accurate. So both of these are currently full, which they are, ready to go out. You'll probably find if you've had it on, all of a sudden the gauge will go down to the bottom, showing that the bottle is about empty. So what you do is to put gas into the motorhome. Turn that one off. Look. So you want, if you want the heating on, hot water, or using the hob or sink or whatever, you just undo that. So that puts gas into the motorhome. And then if this one runs out, close it off, and you can go on to the next one. You can open that one, and that does exactly the same job. Now, these will more than likely need refilling while you're out on hire, and we do request that these are full when you return the motorhome. There's a couple of apps you can get on your phone for finding refilling stations. My LPG, I think it is the one I use the most. This will give you maps and places to refill the LPG. Reason for having this system fitted is it's a lot cheaper than having the exchange gas bottles. So to fill these two up, it's less than £20 at a refillable station. So as I say, if you run out of one, it gives you an idea of how long it's going to last while you're out on hire, and when you need to start refilling it. So if you download the app, look for LPG on the apps, you'll be able to find the stations. There's not millions of them around everywhere, so just be cautious if you're in the depths of Scotland. You might have to go and find somewhere to fill your gas up, or fill up at main towns if there's a filling place. And all you do to fill it is, this is a cover that just pulls off, and it explains on the pumps how to refill the gas. So you have to have both of these valves shut off, so make sure they're both closed, and then attach your pump as it explains. Press the button, and then that'll automatically refill the gas bottles. Once it's full, it shuts off itself, the pump does, so you don't need to worry about it. There's a safety mechanism in these bottles to stop the pump when they're 80% full. So just remember, keep an eye on your gas. If you do run out of one, be prepared to be filling the next one, refilling them within the next couple of days. And on your way home, make sure these are full before you return the motorhome. Simple reason is the nearest one to me to refill this is about 7 miles away, and when we're on busy time, I just don't get a chance to go and refill them. If you're coming back down the motorway from north, which most of my vans are always up in Scotland, motorway services on the M1, there's two on either side coming south and north, where you can fill these up. But as I say, download the app, you'll find it, and all the instructions are explained on the pumps when you get there. This one here, this is where you fill the fresh water up. So it's just open the flap up, undo the cap, put your hose pipe in, or watering can if you're not near a water point, and fill it up. This is about 90 litres. I normally keep them pretty full, but if you decide you want to travel without a full tank of water, just let me know, and I'll make sure it's not full. One thing to remember, so we're on this side of the van, that's for the water, and here, if you open the door, is where you fill the diesel. Now then, it's not happened to me, never has, but I know quite a lot of hire companies where this has happened, where unfortunately a customer has decided to fill that part with diesel. Now then, if you do this, it's an expensive issue. You're talking into the thousands. So please remember, that's where you fill the water, that's where you fill the diesel. So don't get that wrong. Below the diesel, there's no cap, you just put the nozzle in. Below the diesel is another flap. The blue cap, that's for AdBlue, so these are all Euro 6 transits, so they require AdBlue. I normally keep this pretty much topped up for customers as well. If for any reason the light comes on the dash explaining to refill within a certain mileage, just pop to a petrol station or what have you, buy 5 litres of AdBlue. Normally got a funnel on the actual 5 litre container, take the cap off and fill the AdBlue up. Same again, whatever you do, if you have to do that, which is very rare, make sure you fill the AdBlue tank, the blue cap, and don't put it in the diesel, or the other way around, don't put diesel in the blue one. Just one thing I forgot about on the other side. So on this side under the toilet is the wastewater tank release. So all the water that goes into your sinks, goes through your shower and your sink, it's nothing to do with the toilet. The wastewater goes into a tank under the van. So this is called grey waste. Same again, this is only to be emptied at a campsite. You'll find somewhere, normally at the entrance of the campsite, they'll have a grid on the floor where you drive the motorhome over, pull the lever and empty the grey waste. Ask the campsite first. Some will tell you to empty on a pitch, depending on if you're on a grass pitch or gravel pitch or what have you. Whatever you do, don't empty this in a lay-by or while you're driving or anything else. This is literally just to be emptied at a campsite and whatever they tell you to empty. So on the control panel there is a warning light to tell you this is getting full. In the summertime, when it's warm, try and keep this as empty as possible because they are a sealed tank. So any waste that goes through your kitchen sink can get into that tank. And if you leave them full or driving around with a full tank in the summer when it's really hot, they can smell. So literally just empty this as much as possible. If you do really find any smells in the summertime, which can happen, it's nothing I can avoid. I'm not sure what customers put down the drains. So if you go and get yourself to Lidl or Aldi, or there is other supermarkets, buy some cheap full fat Coca-Cola, couple of bottles, 4 litres, 60p a bottle, put that down the drains, let it go into the waste tank with this shut. That'll swill the tank out. This is something I try and do myself quite regular through the summertime, but if you do find anything like that, cheap Coke, unbelievable what it does, but there you go. Other than that, again, we hope you enjoy your hire. One thing, this motorhome came is fitted with an awning. We don't let customers use these. To do with our public liability insurance and the damage it can cause if they're not used correctly. So this has got one fitted. It hasn't got a winding handle fitted in the van. Please do not use this at all. Just one last note. When you're returning the motorhome, the day before, I do send out emails and text messages just to remind you to empty the wastewater out, refill the gas tanks, ensure the interior is cleaned. Please don't worry about the exterior. I'll clean the exterior, but if you can just give the interior a wipe over, clean the fridge out and just make sure it's respectable. That's all we require. Thank you.